So I just want to clarify a few things in my mind, which I think maybe would help everybody, and sort of almost a little bit rapid fire, but we go back to border security. I just want to make sure this is clear to people because I think it's clear and common sense to me. If we have open borders, if we have sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, if we have people traveling around that just got into the country not in the normal route, is it your feeling, Mr. Cuccinelli, that that eventually could increase the risk, without question, of these types of diseases?
Oh, well, certainly, absolutely. That's a simple matter of math.
I mean, there's nothing complicated about this. If people, for lack of a better term, sneak into the country and haven't gone through the normal legal immigration route, we have a larger chance of the disease spreading more. Is that correct?
Yes, in the legal route, we have an immediate screening for illness that's part of the legal requirement for entry.
Okay. The second question that I have is about the travel restriction that was originally criticized when the president put the travel restriction on China and was seen as something abhorrent and terrible. If you were to look back now, would you say, Dr. Red, both of you, that that was obviously, as much as we have issues and problems now, the issues and problems and challenges would have even been deeper and greater? Is that correct?
Well, our understanding at the time when we recommended it to the president and when we had that discussion with him was that the academic models suggested not to do that. So our advice was contrary to the then existing models as it was described in the task force. We made the recommendation anyway. The president was well aware of that sort of contraindication, and he adopted the recommendation, and we universally now believe we benefited tremendously.
Obviously, it was fortunate.
From adopting those measures.
Okay. In canceling large events that we spoke about, wouldn't it be dependent upon the state? I mean, just thinking about how large the United States of America is compared, not to China, obviously, but to a place like Italy or some other areas, wouldn't it be on an individual case-by-case situation too? Whereas, for example, I understand in Washington where you might want to cancel any large gathering, where in Nebraska perhaps you would not. Is that accurate at this point? Is that how we would deal with that?
It certainly is, and it's why it's appropriate for Governor Inslee to make that decision. It's why it's appropriate for Governor Cuomo to make those decisions, and not for us sitting here in Washington to impose those decisions. That's part of the partnership. The guidance you've heard Dr. Red talk about has been flowing freely. It's changed because this virus has literally not been known in human beings for 3 months on the planet Earth yet. So we're still learning, and we're going to be learning for months to come, but that's why those local sensitivities and letting local authorities have final say is so important.
Let me understand testing for a second. So, perhaps, you know, hypothetically, I don't feel well. I feel that possibly I have the coronavirus. I call my doctor, my nurse practitioner, whoever the appropriate health professional is. I say, I really don't feel good. I have the symptoms. What should I do? That person right now, as of today, is going to be able to get that test if their doctor or health professional thinks that's appropriate. Is that correct?
It is. I think there is some work to be done to make sure that they can get it as quickly and as easily as it needs to be. So I think that the test is available, but making that patient experience optimal, there's still work to be done so that it gets done same day, gets a result back quickly. There's work to be done there, even though it's available.
Are we getting close to where it would be the same day?
I think we're getting closer, but I wouldn't want to give you a timeline that by X date it's going to be perfect.
Okay. Another question too. We all understand older people are at risk, immunocompromised, they're at risk. A thought that came to me, and I think I know the answer, but pregnant women and their unborn child that hasn't been born yet.
Yeah, I think right now the evidence isn't in. The evidence that there is does not suggest that that is a group that is at particular risk, which is a little bit surprising. But that's the state of science today.
Yep. Israeli researchers have been saying that they're months away from developing a coronavirus vaccine. Any thought on that?
I generally go with Dr. Fauci's talking points on this. There will be a vaccine available pretty soon, but it won't be tested yet, and that's really the time-consuming thing. So I'm actually not sure what the Israelis are promising, but having a vaccine available doesn't mean that it's been shown to be safe and effective, and that is what takes a substantial amount of time. There are 2 cycles of tests that need to be done, so it's going to be a while before we have a vaccine that's approved that we know is safe and effective.
Okay.
The gentleman's time's expired.
Did I go over? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.